on with us?
Yes, I am.
Good evening, Angela.
Good
It's good to
evening.
see you.
Good to see
Um,
you too.
Good. So with that, good evening and welcome to the January 11th, 2024 COMAR hearing for the 2023-2024 annual review recommendations. I want to thank the community for coming out and joining us this evening, coming out or in, wherever you are, because we're virtual, this evening to testify and to provide some public comments. We will start tonight's hearing with a recap presentation from Ms. Angela Alvarez, our Senior Executive Director in the Office of New Initiatives, followed by public testimony. Please keep your phones muted and your videos off until it is time for you to testify, or you may be muted or removed from the call. I will now read a roll call of the board to identify who is on the call. Please identify yourself first because we are virtual before speaking for the record. Vice Chair Roberts.
Vice Chair Roberts, present.
Thank you. Commissioner Coy. Commissioner Esposito.
Commissioner Esposito, present.
Thank you. Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay, present.
Thank you. Commissioner Lawson. Commissioner Muhammad.
Commissioner Muhammad, present.
Good evening, sir. Commissioner Reed. Commissioner Sally.
Commissioner Sally is present.
Good evening, Commissioner Sally. Commissioner Slater Harrington.
Team.
Was that Commissioner Slater Harrington?
Oh, hold on that one.
And I am here. That is 6 of us that are present, with 4 absent. Again, I want to remind everyone until it is time for you to speak and provide your testimony and your thoughts and your perspectives, please keep your cameras off and stay muted, again, so that you are not a distraction to what is happening, and certainly so that you don't have to get muted or removed from the call. I will now turn it over to Ms. Alvarez for the presentation.
Angela, you're muted. Of course. Good evening, commissioners, our families and staff. Thank you so much for participating in this hearing. I'm going to have Dawn Shirey join me. And Dawn, if you can just briefly introduce yourself.
Yes, good evening. My name is Dawn Shirey. I'm the Director of Virtual Learning and Instructional Technology for the district.
All right, and then we're going to do a brief presentation so that the majority of time is for public comment. It's always tricky, so if someone can give me a thumbs up that you guys can see the screen, I know we're good to go.
We can see it, Angela.
Okay, perfect. All right. So we're here for a hearing related to annual review of schools' recommendations for the school year 23-24. These recommendations align to board priorities 3 through 7. It's part of our annual review process that considers a range of factors when recommendations are coming before the board. And so City Schools looks at academic programming, as well as academic performance within schools, climate indicators, and schools' ability to provide supports around climate, access, quality, and distribution of school programming, and assessing whether specific student populations and specific geographies are served equitably, school enrollment and school size, building utilization and condition, actions necessary for the 21st century school buildings plan, and operator renewal for operator-run schools. We have 3 operator-led schools up for renewal this year. So we are here at the second hearing of this process for schools that are recommended for closure, which that involves BDJ, and first hearing for schools that have other recommendations, like the VLP. The board will vote on these decisions on January 23rd. The recommendation before the board for BDJ is to close BDJ as a standalone program and combine it with Augusta Fells Savage Institute of Visual Arts as one high school in the Holland Park building, where both schools are currently located, to support middle school students in choosing another school for school year 24-25. This proposal comes to us from the school leaders, Principal Wilson and Principal Carnes, who are proposing to join their small schools into one high school to better be able to provide academic programming, resources, and supports needed for post-secondary success in college and or career. The schools share the same building, students participate on the same sports teams, and have some joint activities such as prom and field trips. BDJ has been an undersized middle high program for a number of years and has required between $500,000 to $775,000 in additional funding each year. And even with that support, still has gaps in what it's been able to provide to students. And so the principals want to collaborate in bringing their school communities together to create a new vision to be able to offer more for students. Also before the board is a recommendation to change the surplus date on the Southeast Middle School building from 25 to school year, the end of 25-26, so that we can continue to use it for swing space for the 21st century plan.
And the recommendation concerning the virtual learning program before the board is to convert the virtual learning programs into one virtual learning school, serving 6th through 12th grade students for school year 24-25. The district, as part of this recommendation, the district will support elementary virtual learning students in choosing a school for school year 24-25. Our two programs currently are funded mostly by ESSER, and this funding ends at the end of the 23-24 school year. By shifting our current virtual learning programs into a single virtual learning school that serves grades 6 through 12, we'll really be able to leverage other funding sources and sustain this option even as our ESSER funding sunsets. Other districts have already ended their year-long virtual programs or are considering ending their programs, and some districts don't offer virtual learning programming at all, particularly in these elementary grades. The board's approval of this request will allow year-long virtual learning to continue in city schools. The decision on the grade configuration of this program is decided by the CEO and CAO. The current plan is to sunset the year-long virtual learning for students in grades 2 through 5 at the end of this school year, 23-24. A major factor in this decision is that there are not enough funds, even as a school, to maintain the current grade levels. The models that we did that included the elementary grades indicated a funding deficit. The CEO and CAO are still currently listening to community feedback on this, and really just want to thank everyone that has already sent in feedback thus far and that are sharing this evening.
All right, and with that, we're going to turn it over to the board for public comment. We'll come back at the end just to remind folks of next steps.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Angela. We have quite a few public comments, so I'm going to try to keep them all straight. We have quite a few that need to be read, and then I have a few that are live virtual folks who will come on. So I'm going to start with the ones that are read, and then I will come back to the others. All right, our first one is from Lenalee Fulton, and this is Charm City Virtual Elementary 4th grade student, Rosalie Fulton, and this is for feedback. To all district administrators, please note this is my official request, and I apologize, there's a lot here. Let me get it to the correct piece. Yeah, and again, I apologize. I have many public comments I'm trying to keep straight here. Okay. Please note this is my official request to include my following statements as part of the board COMAR hearing. This email is to inform on behalf of my granddaughter Rosalie Fulton, age 10, currently enrolled in Baltimore City Schools, that the decision made to fully dissolve the virtual elementary program is strongly opposed by myself, a resident of the 21230 zip code since 1979. And other family members who are Baltimore City tax-paying citizens as well. I'm currently employed at Johns Hopkins University as a financial analyst and well-versed in budgets. My employment in Baltimore City has been the primary reason for remaining a resident. And the zone school, Francis Scott Key Elementary Middle School, that Rosalie attended kindergarten twice, first, second, and third grade, is, in my opinion, compared to other brick and mortar Baltimore City schools based on the parent involvement and strong PTO, very good. This recent decision is the third time a funding issue with Baltimore City Schools has disrupted Rosalie's education. First time was when she was transitioning from St. Jerome's Head Start Minds program to the Southwest Charter School, who lost funding in subsequent programs the year she was to enter in for kindergarten. This caused us to then have to enroll her in our zone school. The impact of this was because the trajectory plan for Rosalie was she would not attend pre-K at her zone school, but go from Mines to charter. When she didn't, she was not up to par with the same age peers in kindergarten who had attended pre-K at the FSK zone school the previous year, which caused Rosalie to be held back to catch up. If initial funding had remained with the charter school, she would not have repeated kindergarten. Second time funding impacted Rosalie was in second grade at Francis Scott Key. Per a May 26, 2019 FSK newsletter from the principal, informing that given the loss of the Title I funds and our desire to offer strong programming for our students, a new playground is not something that has been in the plans for the PTO or school-based budget. If parents are interested in looking into grants and other opportunities, we encourage you to band together to see what you can find. Knowing the parent complaints, kids were getting hurt all the time and we wanted to replace was massive. On May 4th, 2022, during recess, Rosalie was standing at the very top of the playground equipment on the right side, waiting for her friends when the sliding boards were and the area safety concern because of an open space that existed on both the right and left sides of the playground equipment. And she fell backwards and was racing down the slide. So I'm trying to get to the pieces that relate to this. So we don't run out of time. If Charm City is gone and Rosalie cannot go next year, we need better options than to what is being told is available. Home and hospital. I am familiar with that program and that is a hard no. Homeschooling is not a good fit either because I work full-time from home and cannot spend 8 hours working during the day and then 8 hours through the night doing homeschool. Plus, I'm not a teacher. For the reasons described above, Francis Scott Key isn't going to work either. If there are no suitable alternatives given to her and quick, because time is of the essence, then I will have to strongly consider selling our home in Baltimore City and taking my money out of the city and living elsewhere like the county and put her into school there where we will have to be far from our family in the city and our friends, and really hope that doesn't have to happen. Something has to be done, folks, with our budgeting process and finding ways to secure funds for the Baltimore City virtual school like Charm City. This virtual school has already proven it is working for many families and students who need this type of schooling, and in which I believe the enrollment numbers for elementary school could very well be increased if there were more promotion and advertisement by North Avenue to Baltimore City families and neighborhoods. A lot of people I've shared our situation with did not know there was a virtual option. Clearly, some students will do well and excel in the brick and mortar setting, but as many families and students have already expressed and will share at tonight's meeting, many students in various reasons do better and excel in the virtual. I personally believe in the particular situation, Baltimore City Public Schools has a moral obligation to any student who has sustained some type of injury or trauma in a brick and mortar setting than making them attend another brick and mortar setting. You've had a virtual option all this time that is actually helping kids do well in school. It does not make sense to eliminate something that works well. Respectfully submitted, Lena Fulton. That is our first written comment. Our next is from Amy Anderson. My name is Amy Anderson, and I am a virtual science teacher at Port Virtual Learning Program. I respectfully request your support of a school designation, school in quotes, for the virtual program. As a teacher at Port VLP, I have witnessed the positive impact and achievements of this program over the last 2.5 years. This is not to be compared with COVID remote learning. Instead, we equip Baltimore City students with the 21st century skills in an innovative learning environment. We offer all students, including those highly gifted with severe social anxieties, with specific learning differences, and with unique home situations, a place to shine. Many students have told me this is the first time in years they have enjoyed school or earned passing grades. I have students with retention and re-engagement histories, attending classes and experiencing high levels of achievement. Not only that, but through the virtual platform, you have provided Baltimore City students access to high quality educators and technological platforms available nationwide. However, without a school designation, the funding to support these successes and students cannot be sustained. Like any student in Baltimore City, those who choose virtual learning deserve high quality education, including course selections, support staff, as well as access to advanced technology capable of supporting learning in the virtual environment, and other school-based programs such as meal support, health services, and athletics. Please support the virtual learning community of Baltimore City Public Schools by designating the virtual programs as a school so that we can maintain the success of the program and best serve the students of Baltimore. Respectfully, Amy Anderson, teacher, Port Virtual Learning Program. Next public comment is from Kevin Morgan. Good evening, my name is Kevin Morgan and I teach math at Port VLP. I'm writing in support of making Port VLP into a school. You always hear the loudest voices, and during COVID learning process or COVID virtual learning, the people who did not like virtual learning made sure everyone heard. Virtual learning is not for everyone, and that is okay. This program was created because it was clear some students thrived in the virtual environment, and those students continue to thrive over the past 3 years. Thrive even while we have been acting as a school with our own admin, teachers, and support staff, but on a program budget. With a proper school budget, we can really become the creative hub for learning through technology that will be an asset to educators throughout the city. Please vote Port to become a school so we can continue to reach, teach, and innovate for the students who consider virtual learning a place where they can flourish. Although we may not be the loudest group, please hear us when we say that making Port into a school is the right decision for the students of Baltimore for many years to come. Thank you. Next is from Ramia Bowman or Bowman for Port VLP. Dear Baltimore City Schools District, as a student at Port VLP, I would like you to consider making Port into a full-fledged school. Port might be a virtual school and it might not have the school aesthetic, but Port is a place where students are allowed to make mistakes and aren't judged for them. The staff at Port understands that students sometimes struggle with everyday lives, and it is challenging to get into the swing of things. It is hard to be motivated when you're having a bad day. It is difficult to focus on a task when you have bottled up, worried thoughts about events that happened to you recently. It is hard taking a test when everything in your personal life is holding you down. The teachers and staff of Port understand this. Therefore, they take the time and care to make sure a student is okay. And if they are not, the teachers and staff will try their absolute hardest to make the student feel supported and needed. The teachers and staff are the most helpful group of people you can find. They are the definition of education and teaching. They will answer as many questions as you give them. They see it as a sign that you care about your learning and the importance of your understanding. Port sees and rewards students for their hard work. They reward students with pizza parties, movie days, homework passes, free days, etc. They value students' strong work ethic and are willing to reward the students with things they request. Port wants to see its students grow and flourish into fine, successful adults. Before I was a Port student, I was not a confident person. I was not confident in my learning ability, and I was not confident in speaking out loud. I had my insecurities, doubts, and fears within myself when I went to public school. It felt like I was in a war zone, with teachers yelling at the students to stop disrupting class, students being mean to each other, fights breaking out, students disrespecting teachers, etc. At Port, everything is peaceful and non-chaotic. I can focus on all the lessons without anyone yelling, fighting, and books, objects getting thrown all over the place. I am more confident in myself and my learning ability at Port. There are a plethora of different students with different personalities. Despite having different opinions and disagreeing with each other at times, we still treat each other with respect and dignity. Dr. Wilby is a principal with a heart of gold. She is compassionate and supportive, and her motivational speeches and words are encouraging to hear. You can tell she genuinely cares about the students and cares about motivating them to be their best every day. It is not just Dr. Wilby. Ms. Stry and Ms. Johnson also motivate the students and hype them up to make them confident about themselves and their day. All students deserve to feel supported and welcomed in a school that cares for them at their highest. Please support Dr. Santalisa's recommendation for Port VLP to become a school. Sincerely, Ermia. Next is from Heidi Herzog. I wanted to say that Charm City Virtual helps my child, Skylar Payne, who was at Utah Marshburn Elementary School, and she started at Charm City Virtual at second grade after she was on virtual for Utah Marshburn Elementary because of COVID-19. And I saw a big change in her grades and health was better than in person. Charm City helps Skylar in many ways with her class. And if my family needs something, they would find a way to get the family what we need for her education, not to worry about food, health, and not to have to worry about her safety and just worry about her education and goals in her life. Please don't take away again her school. I was here before and she was taken and she was scared to be in person and have to worry about health and safety. Whereas she is safer at home to make her stay force on her education and not have to worry about anyone to hurt her friends or teachers. Also, virtual is like homeschooling, but the teachers have to have a degree in education. Also, the principal and vice principal are the best that Skylar has ever met. I hope this helps. You all don't take something that helps elementary school students and families. Plus, the school board and superintendent wanted this elementary school to be safe and strive for their education, which Charm City Virtual and the staff does for the elementary school level and families. I'm not the only parent that feels let down by the superintendent and the team of hers by saying there isn't funds to keep the virtual elementary level going, which there are funds to keep the elementary schools virtual, to keep the virtual school going. And if they say the attendance is low, you all didn't give it the families a chance to join virtual to see how it could help their children and save lives. Thank you for your time and hope the school board and superintendent understand to find the funds, that it is still there to keep something that helps our babies in the elementary school level. If Charm City Virtual closes, I would have to force my daughter to go to a dangerous area to go to school for her last year in 5th grade. I live in an area that is dangerous and sees high crime. I'm thinking of her safety and health, not what I want to keep her home just to keep her home. Or I may have to homeschool her myself for her last 5th grade of elementary school. I can tell you all about me. I'm an adult who went to Baltimore City Public Schools and the school board closed, and it's never been the same since. I had 2 parents who worked for Baltimore City Public Schools, and the school board or the superintendent never reached out to me, my mother, and I apologize, I'm trying to work through the email. Please don't let go of a virtual for elementary school students who would say that they love to go to school and love the staff and principals and teachers. They are like family. Please don't take us there. Do the right thing. Keep Charm Virtual open. There's data showing how well the students are virtual when in person. Please look it up. Please don't take Charm City Virtual away from my child again. We are family. Have a great day. If you need to reach me, and then she shares that. Okay, thank you. Okay. And we'll go to another red one. I'm just gonna check. We have quite a few messages coming in and I want to make sure that I'm not missing something. All right, the next public comment is from Kamala Carnes. Merging AFSIVA and BDJ definitely has its pros and cons. Since both schools' populations are small, merging schools would increase the student population and have more students to participate in events. An increase in students provides more student involvement in school activities and events. A concern that could occur is tension between the boys of Augusta and Blueford. That could lead to more conflicts and fighting. It would be nice to have more school officers and guidance counselors to support the boys. Another way to help reduce the tension could be to add more teachers or periods so classrooms don't have large amounts of students. I believe the student-teacher relationship shouldn't be depleted amongst so many students in a big class. A smaller classroom setting would help with control and relationship building. One-on-ones are really important to students, and if the teachers have too many kids, they possibly won't be able to give equal amount of time to everyone. Another public comment is from David Charles Jr. Dear members of the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners, I am David Charles, a young man who attends Port VLP, or in other words, Port Virtual Learning Program. Throughout my 3 years of being here, I must say I love it here. Part of the reason is due to the fact that here is my home, my own bubble, not really a lot of distractions, nor is there complaining that I have to listen to during school hours. From an in-person setting. I believe my love for Port started on my first day at Port when my mother asked me if I'd like to stay virtual, continue going to Mervo, or change schools to go to either Poly or City. I decided I wanted to stay at virtual. For my 10th grade year, I joined Port VLP. At first, I was skeptical because I didn't think I could pursue my interests in music in a virtual program. Little did I know that Port had everything I needed and even more. First were the teachers. Every single teacher has been unique in their own way. You're probably like, well, of course, every teacher is unique in their own way. And while that is correct, that's not typically what I meant. While our teachers are special, they all have a different style of teaching, which could be due to the fact that they are from different states. Learning different styles of communication, finding different ways, reading, writing, doing math, or even science. They surprisingly make it entertainingly fun, no offense to them. I don't believe I've ever connected with teachers like this on an educational level, and it's even more helpful when they're engaging with you as well. In addition, some students suffer from mental health problems and struggle with social skills. So when they get scared to raise their hands or come off mute sometimes, they can put their answer in the chat privately or quietly to the teacher. We recently went to Ellis Island, which is located in New York, to see the Statue of Liberty. Meeting everyone whom I originally met through a computer screen was heart-throbbing. Making friends isn't a chore at school, nor does it happen to be hard, but some people have their struggles. That's all right because that's what the teachers help with. Very therapeutic. Remember when I talked about loving to make music? Well, it's even easier now because of my lunch break. I tend to work on the very thing I love most, which is music, but other kids don't have to be like me. Some children work on missing work, catch up on assignments, and go outside to exercise. I don't think I've ever really been this happy being at a school before. That's primarily why I took time out of my day to write a letter to you all about it. I want kids who struggle in school or to socialize to have an opportunity like I did. Nobody's perfect, and Port has afforded the equity necessary for all students to thrive. Let's not hesitate to make Port VLP a school. Sincerely, David Charles, Senior, 2023, proud Port Virtual Learning Program student. Next is from Sarah Dworek. My name is Sarah Dorick, a mother of 2 that are currently enrolled in Charm City Virtual. My daughter is currently in 4th grade and my son is currently in 8th grade. I want to first say that Charm City Virtual has been such a blessing to my family. I've never been so in touch with all my children's teachers and supported like they have. The compassion and care they show for the students and families are out of this world. Both of my children have been at the VLP from the start, have benefited and have excelled so much. My daughter, who is in 4th grade, currently has heart problems, is anemic, and has asthma. And when she was in person in school, she missed a lot of time due to being sick or just not feeling well because of her conditions and caught every little cold or virus. So being virtual has allowed her to still participate in school even when she isn't feeling up to her best. She is also very shy and wasn't able to make friends. Her teacher had even reached out a few times in concern about it, and she never liked asking for help due to being made fun of by other classmates. When the VLP started, it was like a breath of fresh air. My daughter made so many new friends and was really able to come out of her shell. She is now above grade level in ELA. She is an amazing reader. She has flourished in so many ways, socially and academically. Another huge benefit is she isn't sick nearly as much as she was in school, which is great for her health due to her health conditions. My son is currently in 8th grade and has really benefited so much from the VLP as well, and has been in the program since the start. He has chronic asthma and was always sick. Anytime he caught a little cold, he had to be put on steroids for his breathing issues. My son works well on his own and is very bright and is a very bright young man. So this program has really been beneficial to him as well. He even got moved into honors algebra this year. Huge accomplishment. I'm happy to see that he will be able to move to high school doing the VLP. My concerns of closing the VLP for grades 2 through 5 is that I know, like myself and other families, will be severely affected by this in so many ways. Our children are our future, and I think this is a big injustice to them. In these Baltimore City schools, you have to be worried for your children's safety, and are they getting the education they deserve? The schools are so overcrowded, so these kids aren't receiving the education they should. It's too many students to one teacher, so many distractions, bullying, parents allowing children to come to school sick and infecting others. And for some, it's just a cold, but for others, like my children, it can be very harmful to their health. But with the VLP, it gives children a safe space for learning. Charm City teachers and staff are absolutely amazing and are great with keeping the children engaged, even the younger ones. I can speak for my family. We have had 0 issues with the program. My daughter had a big meltdown when I told her that she would not be able to do the VLP next year. She is so scared to go back to in-person school for in fear for her health, her safety, and not being able to make friends. She has built such great bonds with the children in her class at Charm City. I, like many parents, are confused about why the decision to shut down grades 2 through 5. It has been said it is due to a lack of money, enrollment status, younger children needing to be more engaged and hands-on in brick and mortar school buildings. So which one is it? The city has money for frivolous things such as bike lanes, now going to all electric cars, paying squeegee kids to not stand on corners, the list goes on. But yet we can't find the funds to ensure a bright and successful future for our children. I am not buying it. We were not even given a chance or anything before making this decision. That is proof that our voices do not matter and will not be heard. There are plenty of businesses that would be more than happy to make donations to fund the school so it could remain open if funding is the issue. I, like many, are frustrated, heartbroken, and just left in the state of confusion because of this decision. Next is from Kathleen Leah, concerned Charm City virtual parent. I keep asking, who do I need to be in order for the powers that be to listen? Who do I need to look like for these people, for the same people to care for me, care for my family, care enough about my children to support our choice? Charm City Virtual is our choice. My little ones and their mates deserve an environment that is conducive to learning. They deserve access to a quality, rigorous education without distractions. Please note that they get sufficient brain breaks and opportunities to shake out their wiggles. There is also a social component where we fellowship monthly at the PDC. Numerous barriers are being removed. Let's keep this right. They deserve Charm City Virtual. I need the members to prioritize the funding and help us continue on the path of excellence. Charm City Virtual is the best fit for us. My children are thriving and it feels absolutely wonderful. Under the leadership of Principal Casagrande, the staff radiates positivity and inspires their students to strive for greatness. Kudos to them. The Charm City Virtual Education Experience is a model worthy to be studied and properly funded. My 2nd grade son benefits from special ed speech services twice per week and GAL instruction 3 times a week after school. He is a Johns Hopkins CTY scholar. He does not know in-person learning. My 5th grade daughter wishes that she could forget. They say time heals all wounds. We're holding on. Therapy and Charm City Virtual are a godsend. She now laughs more than she cries. I like that and I refuse to move backwards. Thank you, Charm City Virtual, for giving me peace. The safety and order being maintained daily is a true stress reliever in a city where juvenile crime is on the rise. In October, an admissions manager shared with me about my daughter that no one can guarantee her safety inside city schools. She may have moved on. However, I will always remember how that declaration made me feel as a parent. Now with Charm City, I have less worries, more focusing on learning and growing their brains. Their confidence levels are increasing as well. It's a blessing to behold. So why did I submit all of those family surveys? Why did I respond to those POSIPs? Why did I send the emails to the school board lauding Charm City Virtual if they were only going to be disregarded and overlooked? Please consider us. Charm City Virtual serves my young family very well. Both of my children are progressing and their attendance is impeccable. Virtual learning is the future. Charm City Virtual is fully functional and it should be celebrated, not discounted. There's no dollar amount to place on all of the teaching and learning that takes place. Please do right by us. Thank you. This will be my last one to read, and then I think I have some in person. This is from Trinae Phillips Davis. Good evening. I'm a proud parent to two wonderful Charm City Virtual Scholars, Gary and Gavin. Additionally, I have the privilege of serving as the current PTO president, working passionately to support and enhance educational experience for all scholars within our vibrant virtual learning community. I love Charm City Virtual because of its vision and its mission. It provides a rigorous learning experience and empowers excellence every day, always. My two scholars have unique learning styles. Charm City Virtual implements a personalized learning experience and educational approach that not only meets their needs, but unlocks their curiosity for knowledge, strengthens their skills, motivates their confidence, and drives their success, which allows them to showcase and reach their full potential. City schools say they are meant to uphold a commitment to providing high-quality educational experiences across the city, nurturing student growth and enabling them to thrive. Preserving Charm City Virtual is fundamental to upholding that commitment, especially because Charm City Virtual caters to the diverse needs of students excelling in a virtual setting and those with health limitations. So for them, Charm City Virtual is their right to a high quality education. Closing our elementary school program not only hinders the success of our younger scholars, it puts their overall well-being at risk. It will divide more than half of our families, including myself, being as though half of our families have students in both elementary and middle school programs. Has anyone thought about the effect on us? What measures have been taken to find additional funding? In considering the merger of middle and high school programs while opening enrollment to all city school students, I perceive a significant expansion opportunity. However, if financial constraints are a concern, why pursue immediate expansion and enrollment openings? Perhaps a more strategic approach could involve consolidating all three programs, securing additional funding in the initial year, and then extending enrollment in the subsequent year. Ensuring that every scholar has equitable opportunities is crucial. So why not prioritize securing funds to enable our elementary scholars the right to finish and smoothly transition to the middle school program? Listen to the message from my chargers. Hello, I'm Gavin, and I've been rocking it at Charm City Virtual for 3 whole years now. You know what gets me super excited? Reading. It's like diving into magical worlds and going on epic adventures without even leaving my chair. Virtual school is my jam because it lets me learn in my own special way, which makes understanding stuff way easier and more fun. It's like having my own learning superpowers. My mom has set up my learning classroom fit for me and my learning needs. Virtual learning has been awesome for me. It's like having a school right at home, which has helped me do really well in my studies. I think without it, I might not have been able to learn in a way that suits me best. Some people might not like learning virtual learning, and that's okay because we all learn differently. But for kids like me who need it, virtual learning is like a special tool that helps us do our best and be super smart. It's important for everyone to know that not all kids learn the same way, and that's okay. Virtual learning is like a superhero cape for some of us, helping us shine and be the best students we can be. Hello, I'm Gary. Charm City Virtual has been more than an academic platform for me. It has been a supportive community that nurtured not just my studies, but also my emotional and social growth. The decision to close its elementary program is disheartening because it deprives my brother of the same enriching opportunities that have been pivotal for me. Both of us deserve the chance to thrive. And I'm going to go back to the top. Things have been coming in as I've been reading, so I want to make sure I get everybody. This is from Felicia Cousins. This is also to be read. Good evening. I wanted to take the time to say that this program has soared a lot these past few years. My boys are happier Xander Klein, my son, is upset and emotional since he's heard about his grade groups closing for virtual. He loves the family that was created through this program. He feels safe. He feels more confident. He feels more like he's heard in this program more than in person. When he is in person, he didn't have any good feelings about it most days. He's made plenty of friends during virtual. They even communicate out of school. He's never had that in person. He always felt that he had to protect his cousin, Aaliyah Wallace, who was also in virtual 4th grade with Xander. He got hurt in that process because principal and teachers turned a blind eye. It's not fair to take their happiness, safety, and second family away from these children. We all hope the decision is reconsidered. Thank you. And again, I'm just checking to see. I know we have additional. And Angela, yeah, if you want to, if you're tracking these and want to point some out that I need to hit, feel free. We have quite a few.
Just one thing I just want to correct. You read, I just want to correct, you read a statement earlier. It came from student Kevin Bethia at Augusta Fells Savage. I think the principal's name even in the message, and you read it out loud as coming from Kamala Carnes, but it didn't come from her. It came from Kevin Bethia, who's a student at Augusta Fells.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then I have some statements from students. Okay, so Corey Fraction sent this to me, and then these are individual student statements. The first is from D. Punnett White. I'm in favor of the merger. I would like to see the students from BDJ join our school to build our sports team. I would like to see the merger happen and we get a football team. From F. Douglas, I personally like it. Some of the boys already know each other and it would bring opportunities to the school. I think we would build as a family once the merger happens. From I. Rocha Torres, I'm 49% in favor and 51% not in favor. I can see both pros and cons to the opportunity. My worry is the students coming over and the increase in students skipping class. If there becomes more of a struggle to get students to follow instructions, it adds pressure to the hall monitors. I'm also worried about how relationships and boundaries will work. I'm not certain if students will respect people's relationships now that we are joining a population of all boys, joining a boys and girls school. I would also be interested in knowing if the merger doesn't happen, can AFSIVA students transfer over to help secure more support? And from K. Bethia, merging AFSIVA and BDJ definitely has its pros and cons. Since both schools' populations are small, merging schools would increase the student population and have more students participate in events. An increase in students provides more student involvement in school activities and events. A concern that could occur is tension between the boys of Augusta and Blueford. That could lead to more conflicts and fighting. It would be nice to have more school officers and guidance counselors to support the boys. Another way to help reduce the tension could be to add more teachers or periods so classrooms don't have large amounts of students. I believe a student-teacher relationship shouldn't be depleted amongst so many students in a big class. A smaller classroom setting would help with control and relationship building. One-on-ones are really important to students, and if the teacher has too many kids, they possibly won't be able to give equal amount of time to everyone. And again, just filtering through.
And Dr. Judkins, this is Tanisha. Just as a reminder, we do
Thanks.
have one video.
Yeah, I think we should go to the video and then we have a number of people commenting live. I just want to make sure we're in order.
Okay. All right, and then we have one more to be read. Tanisha, go ahead and go with the video, and I can look through the email at that time.
Sure.
Good afternoon. My name is Shakia. My child name is Kennedy, and she currently attends Charm City Virtual. My child has been virtual since the pandemic. My child is in the 3rd grade. My child is reading on the 5th grade level or higher. My child, math, I'm bragging like this because my child has definitely progressed from this school. We love Charm City Virtual. I feel as though if you close Charm City Virtual, you're giving up on our kids. You're giving up on their education, and that is what is important to us. We sat here today, and we can all repeat the same thing. We all don't want the school to be closed for a number of reasons, and I speak for everyone when I say this: closing the door on this school, you're giving up on these children. These children need this school. My child alone, Kennedy, reading, picked up, math, everything. All of her teachers, if she need extra help, are available. Available. You won't get that in a public school. You won't get all that. They teachers, no. This school right here, don't give up on our kids. Don't give up on us. And don't give up on their education. That is what's more important. And if it's about funds, find the money. Find it. I don't care where you get it from. Find it. It can be found. It can. It all starts with you finding it. If you believe in these children, then you will find the money. These children need this school. And if this school closed, I'm going to be forced to homeschool my child. I will not let my child go to school in public. I will not. I will not. I will forcefully put my child in homeschool. That's my opinion.
Thank you. We have Sania Bowman, who is commenting live. Would like to unmute and come on screen. You will have 3 minutes. Is Sania with us? I see. It looks like you're trying to come off mute. There we go.
Ms. Bowman, you're still muted, I think.
Can you hear me
There you
now?
go. Yep.
As a 9th grade student at Port, I want everyone to know that Dr. Wilby is a magnificent principal. She always encourages students to do their utmost best every day. She also motivates students and interacts with us to give us support when we are struggling at times. Along with that, she is one of the reasons why Port feels like home. I am truly honored to have her as our principal and would like to see her as our principal for the merged schools. I am also truly honored to have been accepted into Port. The difference between my middle school experience and my experience at Port is that Port has made me feel like we are a true community, which is the best part about it. Port carries a unique spark that attracts students, which is why more people are enrolled here. At Port, Dr. Wilby ensures that all kinds of supports are in place to make sure we are learning as much as we can and that we are developing ourselves along the way. She makes us feel seen and heard. I cannot express how grateful I am to be at Port with these amazing and wonderful teachers and peers to guide me through these years. With Dr. Wilby as the continued principal at Port, I know that we will continue to thrive.
I'm not, is that public comment? Is that completed or are we just having a bad signal?
I think she completed. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Samaya.
Yeah.
I think Victoria Coffer is next.
Good evening. My name is Victoria Gopher, and I've been teaching in Baltimore City for 16 years. Port isn't an option for every student in Baltimore City, but it is an option for some students. Middle to high school is an interesting time for most teenagers because they're trying to understand who they are in every aspect of their lives. The virtual program allows these students to focus on defining themselves as learners during learning time. Our Achieve 3000 and MCAP data scores have continued to tell a story of a program that reinforces the goals of the district, student wholeness, literacy, staff leadership, while also ensuring equity, have been the pillars under Dr. Wilby at Port. Our students are the wild wallflowers of the in-person world. They're the quiet kids, the shy kids, the unique kids, and at Port, they can find like-minded kids. Baltimore City is once again on the cutting edge of education. So the question really isn't, should we make the virtual programs a school? Those questions have been answered by our overall data and the continued student enrollment. The question is, how do we continue to innovate our program to prepare students for a technology-dominated world? How do we ensure students have the best materials to interact with software, tools, and opportunities? And how do we reimagine course offerings that make our students competitive on the open market? We know virtual schools work. Please vote to make it permanent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dr. Juckins. Forgive me for one moment. Again, I just want to make sure that unless you are testifying, please make sure that your camera's off so that our staff is able to navigate through identifying folks and being able to give everyone the opportunity. Thank everyone for the comment tonight. But if you're not speaking, please make sure that your camera is turned off until it is time for you to provide your comments. So still see a few folks whose cameras are on. It'll be helpful if you all turn those off so that we can navigate effectively. It's a lot of folks here tonight. Thanks
Yeah.
everyone for following through with that.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate that. Our next comment is a live comment as well. This is Bliss Finney has, and I apologize if I mispronounced that. Bliss, if you want to join.
Good evening, members of the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners. My name is Bliss Finneas, a proud Port Virtual Learning 12th grade student at Digital Harbor High School. I believe students' perspectives are crucial in shaping our educational landscape, and I would like to thank you for making available the opportunity for students to have their voices heard. I view that as one of the more important qualities leaders should have, open-mindedness. I would like to address the reason we have all gathered here today, which is to discuss if the virtual learning program can remain running. I believe that there are very many benefits that come with having a virtual learning program in place in the Baltimore City area. The current landscape of the world, with its unpredictability and safety concerns, underscores the necessity for a flexible educational approach. The Port Virtual Learning Program bridges the gap between in-person class instruction and homeschooling, providing a balanced solution that prioritizes safety without burdening parents with added responsibilities. It grants students the opportunity to engage in quality education while mitigating health risks associated with crowded environments. And a primary example would be the recent pandemic, COVID-19. Moreover, the virtual learning program caters to diverse learning styles, accommodating students who thrive in independent learning environments. It fosters self-discipline, time management, and technological proficiency, essential in our ever-evolving world. I have participated in 2 other virtual learning programs from a different state beside Digital Harbor High School, and I can confidently declare this one as the best. The balanced student-to-teacher ratio ensures personalized teaching, and provided learning tools are both helpful and engaging. The classes go beyond theoretical teaching, aiming to impact tangible knowledge and skills. and with the guidance of our esteemed principal, Dr. Wilby, and Vice Principal, Ms. Johnson, who has exhibited exceptional leadership in steering our school through challenging times, we can see that their guidance and vision has been evident in the staff they oversee. In summary, having a virtual learning is a pragmatic choice. This approach ensures safety, offers a well-rounded education, and is crucial for the city's public school system. So I urge you to consider the importance of this program in the current educational landscape and to support its continuation for the benefits of all students. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Our next person will be, or commenting is also live, Amira Charles. Please join us. And reminder, you have 3 minutes.
Dear School Board, I am Amira Charles, a 16-year-old junior enrolled in the Port Virtual Learning Program. I joined Port towards the end of my sophomore year in March. I am writing to share my story with you and to express how Port has had a tremendous impact on my life as a student and a scholar. Before joining Port, I attended two other high schools, Baltimore School for the Arts and Reginald Lewis. At Baltimore School for the Arts, the school environment proved to be overwhelming for me, especially as I had just left middle school. Getting accepted into BSA for acting was a dream come true, but the pressure of attending the school became too much for me to bear. The long school days often kept me at school until it was dark, and the numerous classes I was enrolled in meant that I had to stay up late doing homework, disrupting my sleep schedule. The classes proved to be difficult, and the teachers were not able to provide much help. My motivation and drive to excel as a student began to dwindle, and I eventually stopped trying as hard. Eventually, it led to me having to leave the school. After attending 2 high schools and homeschooling, which was not a fit for me, my mother and I felt hopeless, and I thought I would have to settle on getting my GED after turning 16. At this point, we both felt as though there was not a school out there for me. However, Port has changed that. My mother discovered Port, and I didn't want to attend it at first, fearing that it would only end in disappointment, but I couldn't have been more wrong. On my first day at this school, I received a warm welcome from the staff who dedicated their time to explain how everything works. They provided me with numerous resources and introduced me to people who truly cared. The teachers extended their generous support, allowing me to form meaningful connections with them. At last, I experienced a sense of being truly acknowledged and listened to. Being at Port allowed me the liberty to be my authentic self. The other students who attend Port are equally remarkable as the teachers. I have forged numerous wonderful friendships with whom I do not need to find my identity to be accepted. Thanks to the incredible guidance of my teachers, I was able to reignite my passion for writing. Their unwavering support and encouragement have inspired me to pursue writing once again. However, I must also credit the nurturing atmosphere they provided me, as it has allowed me to experience significant personal growth. It helped me break free from my self-imposed limitations and embrace my true potential. During this school year, I went through a very difficult time when I lost my brother. He was not only my sibling, but also my closest friend. The loss was so profound that I found it hard to even attend my online classes. It was undoubtedly the darkest point in my life. I was worried that my grades would suffer and my teachers would penalize me. However, I was pleasantly surprised by the support and compassion that my teachers showed me. They checked in on me frequently, sent me encouraging emails, and even contacted my mother to inquire about my well-being. They extended deadlines for assignments, allowing me the time and space to process my grief. Even when I returned to classes, they continued to offer me their support and comfort. I am truly grateful for the kindness that my teachers and fellow students showed me during this difficult period. Their compassion helped me cope with the loss of my brother, and I have never felt closer to teachers and students at my school. Regarding my academic progress, I am thrilled to share that I have achieved my highest grades to date with a 4.0 GPA. I am proud to serve as the secretary. Time's up.
You have about 10 seconds. You can keep going.
Okay. I'm proud to serve as the secretary of the Student Government Association. And I can tell you guys that I can manage all my work. My teachers are very understanding. They always have to listen to what I have to say, and I've never felt more welcomed at a school. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much. Okay. And our next, we have Anila Wilson. And again, I apologize for the pronunciation. Go ahead and join us on screen. Is it Anila Wilson or Anila Wilson? Yeah, we'll go ahead and move on. We can come back to that. Michelle Hines, if you're present. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
You're good. Yes.
Okay, so I have a student that is in Port VLP and a student who is in the 8th grade with Charm City Virtual. And as a parent, I did put my children into the virtual learning program because I suffered a loss of a child on a Baltimore City school campus. And because of it, I felt that this was the only option to ensure their safety, because this is the only way that I know that my kids will be home when I get out of work. I am privileged in the sense that I am working from home as well. And like a lot of a lot of other people have stated, it's been a blessing to have my daughter in Charm City Virtual. Like even understanding her behavioral health needs and understanding that her behavior does play a large role in her schooling. And when she was in the brick and mortar schools, unfortunately, the idea of no child left behind was something that was replicated consistently with all 3 of my kids. And my daughter has actually become attentive. She started to pay more attention. She's become creative once again, creating books and novels and games on, the platform that they have. She's gone back to reading books because when Charm City started out this year, we got a huge bag of all of these materials that the kids would need. So I felt that this program has been beneficial in the sense that I don't have to worry about my children's safety. And then education is their major concern. Whereas prior to them being in the virtual learning platforms, this has been complicated with them maintaining their focus and having their own behavioral health needs. And with my teenager, he goes to Port DLP, and he has been recently diagnosed with autism. And one of his major issues has been the socialization, being in school and retaining the information. However, since he got onto this virtual learning platform, he's been able to retain information. He's learned how to start scheduling himself accordingly rather than me having to do it for him. He's had the attention from the teachers. I've never had this much communication with teachers at all in all of the brick and mortar schools that my kids have gone to. So whenever I reach out to any of the professionals at Port BLP, they contact me via email or phone call. Whenever I've reached out to any of the Charm City Virtual teachers or staff, they are very responsive. Like the attention within the virtual learning platforms has literally been more person-centered planning than any other school that they've been in. And like other parents, like the other students have said, they're building skills that they otherwise probably couldn't have built upon while being in these public schools because of the distractions, because of the environment, because of the trauma that ensues in their personal lives, such as losing a sibling, such as just getting to and from school, knowing that they have to be within the entire population of Baltimore City, rather than it just being an isolated group of students that are close to their age. And to end the Charm City Virtual like as abruptly as it is, because I definitely thought that they would transfer into a high school program as well.
Thank you.
And I know, sorry.
You've reached 3 minutes. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you. All right. And then our next commenter is Hannah McFarlane.
Greetings, members. Yes, I'm here. Greetings, members of the school board. My name is Hannah McFarlane. I am president here at Port. The moment I heard the proposal about our wonderful Port turning into a school, I was extremely excited. Port has done nothing but help me in many different ways. When I first came into Port, my grades wasn't very well, but as soon as I came into Port, I noticed that I had begun to get better. I had wonderful connections with my peers as well as my teachers. They all did their best in order to keep me on track and passing. And I believe Port staff can do that for any and everyone. In these times, children as well as teens need the proper support in order to perform their best. They make sure they stay on top of us, not because they want to be hard on us, but because they know it's the best for our future. Here's some things I had to say about our wonderful Dr. Wilby. Dr. Wilby, on behalf of the entire student body, we want to take a moment to express our heartfelt appreciation for everything you do as our principal. Your unwavering dedication to our education and well-being does not go unnoticed. You create an atmosphere where we feel supported, encouraged, and inspired to reach the stars. Your leadership qualifies shines through Every decision that you make, whether it's implementing new programs, supporting extracurricular activities, or fostering a sense of community within our school, your commitment to our success motivates us to work harder and strive for excellence in all that we do. Your passion for education is inspiring. You inspire us to embrace our learning and explore new ideas and discover our full potential. So please allow for Port to become an official school and keep Dr. Wilby as our principal. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next is Bahia Abdul Aziz, who will also be commenting live.
Good evening. Something's wrong with my camera, so I can. Okay. Good evening, school board and commissioners. I'm here before you again to speak on behalf of the BDJ family. The merger of BDJ and Augusta Fells is only of a benefit to Augusta and not BDJ. Augusta is gaining more funding for their school, their activities, and they get to keep their staff and teachers, while BDJ loses their teachers, staff members, and one another at the most formidable time of their lives. The principal has been at BDJ for a year and a half and has destroyed its structure and foundation that is now irreparable. BDJ has already lost teachers and staff under his leadership. Some were fired, others quit, and some took an early retirement. More could be leaving at the end of the semester due to leadership, and no one is asking why. As a leader, you're supposed to protect, maintain, and build your village so that it may grow and flourish, not to destroy it. To have your school grow, you're supposed to go and seek out new recruits, and that wasn't done. There weren't any BDJ representatives sent to middle, high, or citywide school choice fairs in the surrounding areas. Why hasn't anyone talked to the teachers and the staff after they spoke with the head of the district last year with their grievances? It was stated to him that she was barely on campus and she didn't show up to staff meetings. They ended by stating that they couldn't go any further with their grievances due to leadership being in charge of their evaluations. Now look at where we are. The vice principal should have been given the principal's job. She's always on campus working hard for BDJ. BDJ is the only single-sex middle and high school with the STEM curriculum that doesn't need a composite score to attend. The newspaper article done on the merger was biased and disappointing. I thought that reporters are supposed to be impartial, and I see with the article they aren't. I was portrayed as being ignorant to the ins and outs of the merger and lack empathy for the young men and myself. It said that I didn't care about their education when my sons have been on an honor roll and have had high test scores. It degraded my character and it was dehumanizing. It painted leadership to be the savior willing to sacrifice the school for a better future of the young men of BDJ, when the ones who know it not to be true. They will have you believe that she's Superwoman when in fact she's Highlander. In closing, I want the young men and staff of BDJ to know that it's not their fault that the school was intentionally mismanaged. I know that others have been dismissive of your feelings. Others have lacked empathy at a time when there is limited opportunities and resources available to you. I know that it's hard living in the city of Baltimore as young Black men. It's been a disappointing year dealing with the situation, and I encourage the young men to do their best and to give their best wherever they may go. Fly high, young men, fly. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to recall Nyla or Anila Wilson and see if you are now here. Okay, and with that is our last public comment. I'll hand it back over to our chair.
Thank you, Dr. Jenkins. I'm actually going to hand it over to Angela Alvarez and her team. Definitely just want to say first, before Angela comes back, to just thank you to everyone who's come out again tonight, and thank you for your comments, for your perspective, and for your vulnerability. This is an important part of the board's work, to be able to hear from members of our community. So thank you from the various communities that make up our city. Thank you all so much for being here and for offering your perspectives. Ms. Alvarez?
Yep, and I just want to echo those sentiments. Thank you to everybody that testified. It's important that the board hear from you, and so we appreciate that everybody participated fully. We just put a couple slides back up just to remind folks of next steps. So this meeting concludes oral testimony on these recommendations. Folks can still send written testimony to the board at this second email address that you see here, portfolio recommendations at bcps.k12.md.us, or mail written feedback to the board at 200 East North Avenue, room 406, Baltimore, Maryland 2102. Messages must be sent to the board by Friday, January 19th by 5 p.m. That's the Friday before the vote. So I wanted to make sure that folks know they could continue to send written testimony. And the board will make its decisions on the recommendations on Tuesday, January 23rd at its regular board meeting. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Nyla, are you still on here? I feel like I'm typing too slow. Are you still there? Can you hear me? And not and Nyla Wilson?
you.